Well, good morning. Happy Saturday, everyone. Glad to be back and get some work done today, but just like last night being incredibly hot and humid, we have that here today. There's not a breath of air. We haven't had rain in forever. Looks like about 6 weeks now. So it is very dry. The humidity is way up for, I think, mid to late September. So I'm about ready for the fall to set in. It's time for the heat to go away. Today here at Sid's Blue Sky Farm, we got some miscellaneous projects. I've gotten 3 new boxes of really driveway lights is what they are. They just are outline lights, different style. We're going to put those up and down the driveway, pull the old lights, check which ones work, find a new home for them. Then got another box for a little bed over here that we're going to try to do a little highlighting with. So got that chore. We're going to take you out to the pasture right beside the house here and lay out where the new cornfield is going to go, kind of explain that. Moving it up to the house this year, we've got better access to water. No more dragging barrels of water with the tractor. I'm out. Count me out on that. Then I'm going to show you an idea I have for some new flower beds here just to the right of the house in the main. It's kind of a rectangular piece of grass on the right-hand side of the driveway. From there, we're going to maybe cut the last watermelon of the season, see how that one turns out. Something I've been putting off for a couple days. I may have waited too late. Then we're going to clean the pool and just kind of pick up some stuff around here, get a little bit better organized. Later on this next week, now that the bush hogging is done for the season, we're going to get the tiller out, work on the garden plots just a little bit. I want to start adding that potting soil that I bought, the truckload into there, and get that working over the winter. Maybe we'll have some more rain. So a little bit of that work to do, and then kind of just settle in for the winter. Another project we have down the road, this is my grandfather's 66 Chevy that I've had forever. I have painted this truck myself twice and put a new motor in it and all that kind of stuff. And I had this idea that since I had experienced that and learned how to do some things, I would start flipping some trucks. So I bought, I think it was a 74 four-wheel drive Chevy pickup, painted it, kind of rebuilt all sorts of parts and equipment, windows and gaskets and doors, painted the interior, worked on some wiring, new carburetor, things like that. Spent months doing that. I had this idea that that would be a great way to have a little side hustle to make some money now that I'm a retired gentleman. It didn't work out that way. I probably made $1,000 on the deal, and it probably cost me $5,000 in labor. So parts, not all the parts were included, but a lot of miscellaneous stuff and tools, which I'll get more utility out of down the road, but it just didn't turn out to be the moneymaker I had hoped it would be. But over the winter, we're going to try to come to the conclusion of, do I want to start a new project with this truck? I've got some spots. One of them is right here behind me. C10s in this model with this big square front end are prone to hold water in these corners, and it'll rot out the entire face and the corners of the hood. So are we going to make this the project, fix this hood, fix another rust spot on a fender, and I've got a fender support that's broken I need to fix. That is one option over the winter. I'm certainly not ready to paint it again, but do some work on it. Or do we just buy another truck? Try to find something cheap. The square bodies are so expensive, that's probably out, but maybe we can find us an old Ford, maybe an F100, or maybe a more modern truck, maybe a Chevy is 2009, 10 or 12. That's cheap, and we'll do a little work on it. We've got that decision to make. And of course, the ultimate project, I want to put the cabin down by the pond. And my wife and I have had this conversation repeatedly, and she's on board with it. I think we're going to buy one of those, like Home Depot or Lowe's sheds, the buildings you can buy, have them haul it in, get that set up, and then build a porch and a deck with a cover on it. And then maybe figure out if we want to do a little work on the interior. That's probably what I will go with. I'm just not a master carpenter, so that would spend an awful lot of money and an awful lot of time trying to build one. But we're settling in, kind of the end of the grass cutting, the mowing in the fields. All the gardening is put away. So we're just settling in for things to slow down. Pecan season will be coming up in another month or so. I think we need some rain for that to really kick in, but I think the rain helps the trees loosen up the pecans and let them drop. I don't know. We'll see. If you follow my videos, you'll hear me say, I don't know. That seems to be something I should just probably put in a text line along the bottom, like a scroll that says, whatever I'm talking about, I just really don't know. But that's okay because I have so much fun doing this. And I also want to give a shout out. I had a viewer send me a note after watching the mowing video, and he sent me a note, very nice man, and he said, hey, not to be negative, but you've got your top link set wrong and you got your bush hog arms too low. And I went back and looked at the video, and he's really right. I wasn't doing that very well. So thanks to that viewer. I can't remember the exact title, and I'm not sure I'd want to give it out right now. But anyway, to that gentleman, thank you very much. That did help me, and I'll pay attention. Usually I retain some of this stuff. It just takes forever for it to get through my brain. So we'll go get started on some of these projects, close it out probably with a little pool cleaning today. We've got that to do. I'm going to try to recharge the old bottom skimmer one more time. That won't work, but I'm going to do it anyway because we have a new one on order. So we'll talk about all that. So I hope you are having a great Saturday morning. We will get to these projects and see what happens with the rest of the day. So we'll see you later on. Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, before we get started on the light project, let's see if this melon is worthwhile. I have my doubts, but we'll check it out. Wow. That is really nice looking. Maybe a little dry, but we're going to try a little piece here. Hey, really good. Okay. It's like the last melon of the year is actually going to be a very good one. So that's great. Great. Now I got a project I need to do something else with. All right. I'll go take care of this first. Now let's get going with, got some driveway lights that aren't the very best. Okay, a little watermelon on my knife, that'll be right. And hopefully these new replacement lights will work. Pretty hefty package here. Get over here in the sunlight. Okay. Again, won't bore you with all this, but we're going to get these lights turned on, get them ready for tonight so that we can replace the ones that aren't working. And then we've got 2 more boxes of lights that we're going to try to change kind of the entire layout of the driveway lights. We'll try those later on. Okay, last of the lighting project. If you just think about this tiny little box is able to hold 15 of these lights. Someone in the engineering world with this light company managed to figure out how to make everything pretty compact and actually fit in a small container. We'll set that one aside. Those are ready. And then we'll try to figure these out, go through the same process. And then we will get out in the yard and try to figure out where we're going to put these things. Because right now, I don't have a clue. I know the ones I want to replace, but I'm not sure where the new lights are going to go. Okay, here we have box number 1. I don't know what you would call these lights. These are just a different, it's kind of a little carriage light, I guess, style. I like it. Okay, box 1. Complete. Now, we'll finish box 2 and we'll start the transformation. We're going to pull these vertical or cylinder looking lights out of the driveway and replace them with these. So that'll be a little bit tedious. We'll just run through that and catch up on the end of it. Okay, let's go get the side by side, load these things up and start getting the transfer done. Like I said, it is really, really dry. All right. So far, our light project is in good shape for the front yard. We'll check these lights out tonight after the sun's on them all day, and we'll see which one's working. We may find a spot. May find a spot in the back. May try to highlight that little new garden area out front. So we'll see. On to project next. Okay, the next project, we're here just to the right of the driveway in the main house. Got a nice long strip here of just plain boring grass. Some trees set out. We've got the lights to the driveway on one side. But my idea is to add a flower bed. And my idea is to make it with a design. Now, I've got to be far enough away from the garden plot to make sure that I can move my tractor in and out to till it. But I think if we come here about even with this third stand of lights, we make a really wide strip. Just bring the tiller out, drop it in the ground 3 different times and widen this out enough for the mower to pass on the left side and the right side so that it can be cleaned up. Plant a taller flower, something that blooms. More than likely, this will be where the zinnias go. I love those. They did really well this year, so we'll put them here. And we have access to water right there by the, there's a faucet right there by the side of the house. Then I'm going to move forward wide enough for the mower to pass between, put another row in and shorten it by about 1/3. Repeat. Move it up far enough where the mower can get between and do basically a 1 set. Now, we may put something taller than zinnias. The zinnias may go in the middle. That's probably the better idea. We'll put maybe a volcano bush or something else that's interesting in the very back. You know, you give it that tiered look. You have high, lower, and then low. In the front, we've got some variegated plants. We brought them up from our Flagler Beach house where they just grew like crazy. I mean, you had to thin them out every month or they would just take over the entire area. They don't do that here. The soil is just so much harder. And that sandy soil just let them spread like crazy. Here, they're a little bit more retarded in their growth. It just keeps them from digging that root out. I will put a turned path in the back. Maybe it'll be like a curved area, like a smile. And then the other 2 can have a less dramatic turn, just to break up that box look, but we'll see. I'm going to grab the camera and walk out and show you one other thing that we're going to do here very soon. And as we move out into the big pasture on the, let's see, right-hand side of the house as you face the road, then of course you see we've got our rows of pecan trees here, and they are coming along fairly well. But in this center section, you can see the other pecan trees. It's just another boxy line. We're going to have access to that water faucet. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. There is a really high pressure faucet right back there. So I can get water out here to this field pretty quickly. And right straight ahead of me, maybe 20 yards or so away from that tall tree you see, we're going to bring the field corn patch up here. We're not going to fence it. If the deer get it, the deer get it. But we're going to try to move the field corn because I think one of our real big problems with field corn this year was just not having enough water on it. So we'll till all this up, and I anticipate that to be a dusty, dirty, rock-hard, rock-filled mess. But we'll see. And I want to do this. I want to make a fairly large patch so I can just run the bush hog on the left side, the right side, and in the rear of it to keep it mowed. And just cut down on some of the mowing up here and add a little bit of a different view going back to my mother-in-law's house there. So that's a project maybe after it rains a little bit. I'm not going to try to do it here. I can tell you in this field, I may have mentioned this as well, we're at the tail of the Appalachians here in Chambers County, the very, very southern tier of the Appalachians, and there are rocks everywhere. In the northern part of the county, there are rocks the size of vehicles and houses. Here, they're just miscellaneous large rocks. And every time we mow, we get about 1 million of those. So we're going to deal with that, but maybe we'll pick up enough rocks to build us a nice little rock wall somewhere, or at least a rock outline for some of our flower beds. Maybe the one we're going to create over there, we'll put rocks on it. Who knows? Well, now it's time to finish off the new light setup. Ow. You would think I could stop stabbing myself with these little spikes if I would just pay attention, but never been my strength. Wow, I didn't know there were so many of these things back here. Oh, man. An awful lot of lights back here in one little flower bed, but they weren't working anymore, so they weren't doing much good. Oh, my favorite thing to do. Not at all. Let's dig some leaves out of the pool since we have been betrayed by our bottom skimming robot. We have to come out here. This is like the third week in a row I've had to do this, and I am not enjoying it. Good enough. Well, here is how the project looks with all the lights in place. It's really hard to see in the very far distance the ones we salvaged from the small bed. Most of those are even on. Let me walk over and give you a look at how the lights in the very front look. They're not too bad either. I know it's hard to see in this darkness, but at least a little bit of a good balance, good highlight in front of the house. I think that's going to do it for today. We'll try to find something else interesting to film and talk about on the farm during the next week. Hope everybody has a great week, rest of the weekend. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.